Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. Lynette here, and today, as you see in the title, I'm going to be doing part 2 of medicinal uses for tree bark. As I said before, this is a new area for me, so I am excited about it. We're just going to jump right into the video and get started. According to the lostherbs.com, slippery elm bark powder for treating intestinal issues. If you have issues with your gastrointestinal tract, you can go ahead and mix dried powder, slippery elm bark with just enough water to make a smooth mixture. Take a spoonful to treat bowel troubles. Pine to improve circulation and muscle aches. Pine needles are commonly known as a cure for scurvy, but the bark is also useful. The areas around knots are particularly good since they tend to have a buildup of resin. Boil several pieces of bark in a gallon of water for 10 minutes. Cool the water slightly and add it to your bath. Soak for at least 15 minutes for the best results. Balsam bark for toothaches. Cut several shallow lines in the bark of a balsam birch and collect the resin that would ooze out. This can be applied to the teeth and gums that are causing problems. Speed up healing with walnut bark. Dry walnut bark when you first collect it, then pound it into a powder. This can be mixed with just enough water to create a thick paste and then applied to wounds and sore joints to help them heal faster. Magnolia bark helps you sleep. Magnolia bark may be dried and ground. Add the powder to gel caps to make it easier to take, and you can take a couple a day. However, many people prefer to simply make some tea with the bark. You should always harvest your own to avoid contamination. Purify your blood with sycamore bark tea. Make a simple tea from the inner bark of the sycamore tree. Add a handful of shredded bark to a cup of boiling water and steep for 5 minutes. This can be taken as a diuretic and a blood purifier. It was often used to treat tuberculosis and measles, among other things. Black cherry bark for fighting coughs. Wild cherry bark has traditionally been used to treat lung problems like colds, bronchitis, and whooping cough. You can create a cough syrup by distilling the liquid created by steeping the bark and adding honey. Give a spoonful to treat a bad cough. Rubber trees treat fungal infections. You can use the bark of rubber tree for a variety of uses, but one particularly helpful one is to apply the scored bark to any fungal infections on the body. From ringworm to toenail fungus, the latex from the bark will attack the fungus. Replace as needed with fresh bark. Poplar bark to heal burns. The bark from any poplar tree may be used to treat a burn. Simply peel off the outer bark and apply the softer inner bark to the burn. This should be done while the bark is still damp. It will help dampen the pain and speed healing. Use cinnamon to calm the GI tract. Cinnamon is actually the bark of a cinnamon tree, and while it's tasty in food, you'll also find it helpful as a medicinal herb. Steep a couple of sticks of cinnamon in boiling water for 10 minutes and drink, or grind it and place it in capsules to help with stomach upsets and gas. White oak tea as an antiseptic. Turn the bark of white oak into a tea by boiling a cup of water with a handful of shredded bark. This tea is then cooled and used to clean wounds or skin. It can also be used warm to soak infected toes. Jacaranda root infusions treat sore throats. Trim the bark from the roots of a jacaranda tree and soak the bark for 10 to 12 hours in enough water to cover. Throw away the bark and rinse the mouth and gargle with the infusion several times a day to help with sore throats and canker sores. Treat dysentery with avocado bark. You can then make a tea from the bark using about an ounce in a cup of water and steeping for 10 minutes. Drink the tea to help ease diarrhea. Ease cold symptoms with spruce bark. Trim away the outer bark of the spruce tree to get the tender white bark on the inside. This may be chewed in and the juices swallowed to help relieve cold symptoms. Oak to prevent worms. Intestinal parasites can happen anywhere in the world, and there are plenty of natural treatments for them. An ounce of oak bark boiling in a cup of water is one of them. Cool the concoction and drink it to eliminate any parasites. Medicinal plants aren't always herbs. Sometimes we get even more powerful treatments from the trees themselves. The next time you walk through the forest, take a closer look at the bark around you. It may be just what you need. Okay, so that was medicinal uses for tree bark part 2. I hope this video blesses you, and if I left anything out, please leave them in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Try to stay safe during this season. As you know, I had my bout with whatever it is going around here, and you can check the video to see what I've done there. And just remember that you're beautiful. I do this because I am here for you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I love you. Bye.